Happy spring, everybody. All 6 of my hives that went into winter came out of winter very strong, so let me show you them. And one of these things is not like the other. See if you can tell me which one. Here's the 4 on the front row. It's a pretty warm day. It's beginning of February here in Oklahoma. So, as you might have guessed, that purple hive back there in the corner is very full of bees. So we're going to do a whirlwind tutorial on how to make a split. Do an early spring split. So I'm going to take you along with me on kind of how I do this. I'm going to be looking for the queen in this one, but it's not totally necessary. But I'll talk you through the steps that I go through kind of when I do this. I'm going to go ahead and wear gloves today so I can be a little quicker. As you can see, I've got all of my equipment set up and staged. So this is a box ready to go. I've even got a strap. I've got the door closed. I've got 5 frames, and I've got a lid ready to go on and off as I take the bees, the frames I want in and out. When I get in here, what I'm going to be looking for, first off, is queen cells and swarm cells. And then I'm also going to be looking for drones. Hopefully there's enough drones. I saw a few the other day, but just a few. But hopefully there'll be enough drones that we can get a mated queen. I'm not too worried about that. There probably are plenty. All right, let's grab the smoker. I'll hit it with a little smoke. You know, we are kind of in the evening here. It's a little later in the day. I've got off of work. I kind of noticed this hive was pretty busy about 2 days ago. Ooh, look at that. Looking at the lid, I don't see a lot of hive beetles or anything, so that's good news. But I did notice that this hive was pretty busy the other day. I knew it needed to be split most likely very soon. But I came out tonight and saw they were really packed. Hive tool, there it is. They always seem to run away, don't they? Let's see what this looks like once we get it open. This got closed. Pretty docile. Let's see one out. They've really sealed this lid close to the top with extra honeycomb. When I feel the lids are really tight, you just got to watch out for it picking up a frame. You really don't want it doing that. It makes a mess of everything. It's easy to squish the queen. So see, I went up slow enough that it didn't squash the queen or didn't pull up a frame. Always take a quick look on the lid for your queen. There's a drone. Look at that, almost no hive beetles, that's great. So there's a couple drones in here. I only see the one there, but swap the lids. I may give that lid that's got all that nice honey on it to the new hive. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to go in frame by frame, doing a hive inspection. If you're really intimidated about finding the queen, you really don't have to do that. Whatever hive has the queen in it will continue to go with the queen, and the hive that doesn't will make a new one. Just make sure there's enough brood and eggs in both of them. That's the key. And you want to do that whether you find the queen or not. I think that's the biggest thing that worries people, and you really, that is probably one of the least important skills. take this first frame out because it's pretty heavy with honey. Really slow. Try not to smush anybody. The queen should not be hiding this far over when they're this full. She should be staying kind of mid-brood nest. God, they'd be really docile. That's awesome. Well, so I say that. Look at that. Honey, brood, eggs. Oh, I'm sorry. There's some brood down there at the bottom. So some brood hiding in here. This is all pollen, then nice honey. And a lot of nice honey on this side. I'm actually going to go ahead and give this... it's always tough to decide what frames go where. These frame hangers are awesome. If you don't have one of those, you need it. I'm debating on that one. Well, you know what I didn't see? I didn't see a lot of swarm cells. There's some drone brood down there at the bottom, which again, good sign of drones, but almost no swarm cells. So that's good news that I'm probably not too late. May not be early, but God, look how packed this guy's. You saw how many bees were up there on the front. Look at that. Look at all that brood. Several more drones. Lots of brood. Oh, listen. I hear piping. Hear it? Sounds like a little whine. That sounds like a virgin queen to me. I haven't seen a single queen cell yet, though. Interesting. No queen on this one, but lots of brood. Not a lot of eggs, though. So see, there's a lot of cat brood. Look at that. Tons of cat brood, but I don't see a lot of actual eggs. Since we're being so chill, we're going to keep going. We're going to give like 4 whole shakes of bees. There are so many bees inside. There's going to be tons of brood. Holy moly. Look at this queen going to work. Look at that. All brood. All brood. I cannot believe they don't have this thing packed full of swarm cells. This is a good queen. I'm going to make sure we keep this lineage going. So see, there's some drones down there at the bottom and some hatch drones hanging around. I am looking for a queen right now. Yeah, I think that piping from before was just me squishing a bee on accident, unfortunately. Usually I'm pretty good. Okay, so see, this is a full frame of brood. Their new home is going to be right here. I'm going to try to not put them right in the middle, or I'm going to try to put that one more in the middle because it's brood and I really want them to stay warm. You can tell the bees are getting a little bit more irritated. This is a great frame of eggs and larvae and mixed brood. So if you look down there at the bottom, that's all brood, cat brood, but working your way up, that's all, there's actually a layer of eggs, then a layer of larvae, then a bigger layer of larvae, and then actually a few more cat brood and some more eggs. There's a very good chance the queen is on this frame. This is where she'll be hanging out, is where she's just been laying. It really doesn't matter which side you give the queen, the split or the original. I kind of like to give the split the queen. They usually end up with less bees in the end. There she is. Can you find her? She's hiding hard on this one. Oop. Can barely see her. Look in the bottom left corner. Right there. That's your queen. She looks great. I don't love it when they're down there in the corner like that, so when I look down here I'm going to make sure this frame, but I am going to go ahead and give the split the queen. Yeah. Okay, there she is. She looks good. I check where she's at. Watch when she goes in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to buddy these frames up next to each other, because I know that queen's on there, and I'm going to do it really gently while I can. A little faster than I would have liked. So now I know the queen is hopefully pinched in between those two frames. Not pinched, but is in those two frames there. Now the rest of this can go a lot quicker. This frame before that had a lot of food and some extra brood, they're gonna get that one too. Now this one was like all brood. Okay, this all brood frame I'm gonna leave in here, but I'm actually gonna take a shake of bees off that when we go. So once the queen's out of the hive, they know it. So just be aware. So this is all larvae and eggs, so I'm going to leave this for sure with this hive to make a new queen with. Yep, she's laid all this up, it looks like. See this low light, there's eggs in here. Plenty of drones, that's good news. What I'm looking for in these bottom of these cells is eggs. It's normally not too hard to tell. Oh, even better. Okay, so there's all larvae. I don't know if you can see it. There's larvae and eggs all in the bottom of this frame, so it's a really good frame to let them eat. They've got a really good frame of brood next. What I am going to do on this hive, I'm going to start covering it. Another full thing of brood. We're going to leave that in here. We're going to have 3 whole brood frames, which will be fantastic. I don't want to get to some food to get to the other hive. Got more brood. This one's got some food though. I'm going to go ahead and put this one in the other hive in the split. Alright, let's do a quick frame count. Maybe 2 more. Probably one more good shake of these. So many bees on the outside out here. Okay, here we go. Nice full food frame. Perfect for these guys. So look at that, all food. all day and some drones, even though this hive still has a queen. They have been super chill today, by the way. They're ready to be still. Another full food frame. The last one's a full food frame. I think food is not going to be a problem for them. It's going to be a challenge. I should have made space before I picked that up. By space, I should have taken my tool here. Pull gently all these frames together. You kind of work it too. And they're going to get upset with you. Don't get too put off by that. The other trick you can do is when you got a nice full frame of bees, don't make that the last frame you stuff in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these two out. I'm going to put the frame of bees in. Then I'm going to put these back in. And the food. Get that snugged up. Now that I've got that one in there, then I can take this guy, stuff it back in, and I'm not as worried about smashing bees when I put this last frame in. Okay. These bees are getting, you can see they're getting irritated. They're like, where's my queen? All right, frames are in, they're nice and tightly pushed together. There are so many bees in this box, do you see? And there are still tons of bees hanging out on the front board. We're gonna do at least 2 shakes of bees. They've got 2 frames of brood, but this is a brood frame. A lot of these are nurse bees, which is exactly what we want. Well, this one has the queen in it, so it's not as big a deal. But it is what we want in this one. So, I'm going to do a shake off on there. Don't shake too hard on the brood, but they can take quite a bit. And just for grins, this is the food frame. And there's so many bees on the outside of this. I'm going to do one more shake of that one as well. Here's my smoker. I'm going to smoke these guys down and try to get them down into the hive best I can. There we go, they're kind of working their way down in. And I'm going to work this lid on. I found kind of the best way to not squish bees is kind of work it on one edge. And kind of work it down. Do your best not to squish bees, but you know, you got to be a beekeeper too. I'm gonna get my lid thrown on. Now those bees are officially sealed up in that box. Now what I'm going to do, start taking my extra frames. Since that was a food frame on this outside, I'm gonna go ahead and throw them another frame just right here. And they don't have to go so far to start filling it up. I'm actually gonna do that twice. I'm gonna give them 2 frames there. These are some of my best frames too. See, nice straight. I like these black plastic frames. You know, they're a little more expensive than some of the other ones, but this is a frame we shook down. So don't forget to, if you feel like there's not enough bees in the box you left, a lot of the bees that are in the box you took are going to make their way back to the box that you left. Also, even though it's late, there's still a decent amount of bees out foraging. And so they're going to come back. And reinforce the hive. This hive's doing so well, I'm not worried about it one bit. We'll find out together, I guess. And so you can see that this hive that's all sealed up now, that can't smell their queen, is not very happy with me. So make sure you bee suit up for splits. So I'm going to fill in these frames. Backfill this guy with the extra frames. Now, I was lucky enough to have drawn comb. Comb is king, guys. Never forsake comb. Whenever you can save your comb, always save your comb. That is the fastest way to grow hives, with good comb. 100%. So keep that in mind. A lot of people that, you know, melt it down for candles and stuff, don't do that. So look at that, they cleaned all that honey off the top of that already. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this lid off. That is a good place to take your beeswax from, is your lid. Smoke them a bit, get them down so you don't squish them. Put your lid back on. Like I said, I usually go corner to corner, just kind of slowly work it down, work it forward. They're going to be upset. Don't worry too much about that. There's the lid. I brought you guys inside because the bees were attacking the camera and I didn't want you to hear buzzing the whole time. I thought it'd be better in here. As you saw, splits are not that difficult. They really intimidate new beekeepers. They intimidated me in the beginning, and now I've gotten pretty used to it. They're nothing to be too worried about. It's as simple as 5 frames in one hive, 5 frames in the other hive, backfill with empty frames. If you have drawn comb, that's amazing. They will grow way faster. If you don't, that's how you get it. It's by building out more hives. So I try to take an even split of food and brood between the two. If you find the queen, awesome. If you don't, just make sure it's even. They'll do all the work for you. You'll know in a couple of days if you check them because of the queen cells they build. But if you do find the queen, I like to send the queen to the new location because the bees that are now in the new location are more likely to stay there with her because she's in the box. The bees that you leave behind in the old location, they don't know anything other than that location, so they're going to stay there. They're not going to go find their queen in the new spot, even if it's just 40 yards away. When I move them, I always leave the door in the old location open. The box for the new location, I close it up and I seal the whole box so I can move it. I moved it there in the evening. I usually like to do splits kind of late, not evening, but in the late afternoon. More of the bees are home, by the way. Tomorrow morning, just before I go to work, I will go pop the door open on that so the bees can get out. Do not leave the hive closed all day. They will cook in there. They need to get out and get some air moving through the hive, and they'll do that on their own. After the doors, let me check my notes here. Yeah, if you find the queen, awesome. If you don't worry about it. If you find swarm cells, what I usually do is I will leave an even number of swarm cells kind of between the two hives if I don't find the queen, and I'll only leave about 5 per hive. If I do find the queen, the hive that has the queen, destroy all the swarm cells. They don't need them. The hive that doesn't have the queen, leave 5 or 6 swarm cells, but destroy the rest. You don't want the queens all fighting in there or having multiple swarms and leaving. Usually the first queen to hatch out will kill the rest. Or you can go harvest the rest and use those cells for your next splits, or to requeen other hives in your yard that maybe have older queens. So I'll show you that next video because I'm planning on doing that. But that's how I requeen most of my yards. Is the first split of the season, I let them build a bunch of queen cells for me. Then I'll go and kill the queen of a hive that maybe isn't doing it so hot and replace her with that queen. As you saw, that queen and that hive are doing really well. So definitely going to try to keep that lineage going. They were very docile. They've been doing awesome. They overwintered awesome. It's probably one of my best hives. Other than that, I hope that helps you with splits. If you got questions, you can leave me comments and I'll try to answer them and do some more videos. But I hope you enjoy this beekeeping hobby. I've really had fun with it. So until next time.